So my name is Keelin and I'm based at the Teagasc Pig Department down in Moore Park in Fermoy. And I'm going to be talking about 3 projects today, and the first one of these is called OptiPig, and it's looking at how to optimize output per sow. So the aim of it is that we'll try and improve output in sow so that it approaches the best producing pig countries in Europe. So there's 2 kind of strands to the research. The first one is looking at how to change the nutrition of the sow, so providing her with some supplements during gestation or maybe adjusting her feed allowance. So through that we're hoping that we can help to improve the numbers of piglets born alive, and then also the viability of the piglets so that they're born stronger and healthier. And then the other side of the research is looking at how to manage small and weak piglets in particular, like the extra piglets that are born. If we do manage to increase output, because the sow can only rear 12 to 14 piglets usually. So if she's having 16 born alive, then the extra ones have to go somewhere else. So that research is going to look at how to use nurse sows to rear the piglets. Also, we're investigating use of artificial rearing strategies such as rescue decks, and then maybe giving piglets some kind of supplement or extra milk in addition to what they get from the sow during lactation. One of the problems you have when you have larger litters, it's not just that the sow can't rear all the piglets, it's that because there's more piglets and there's only so much space in the sow when they're developing, a lot of the piglets are born much smaller, or there's a huge variation in birth size. So you get some very big ones and some very little ones. So the energy supplementation work is really going to be targeting the smaller piglets to try and give them a bit of an energy boost to help them get up and suckle. The strategies like the nurse sow strategy and the rescue decks, generally you'd use them to rear extra piglets, but they'd be used more with the larger piglets who are able to cope with maybe moving them to a new mother or moving them into a rescue deck and then leaving the little ones with the mother, because it's easier for them to develop, I suppose, when they're with a sow rather than moving them around. So the second thing is a new project. So we haven't done very much work on this yet, but it kind of leads on from the OptiPig project. It's looking at how to rear the actual sows themselves, because sows in Ireland, before they have their first litter, they're often reared with finishing pigs. So they're fed a diet that's designed to kind of stimulate quick growth and maybe wouldn't have all of the minerals and nutrients that are appropriate for an animal that's supposed to stay in the herd for several years. So that study is going to look at a variety of different nutritional strategies kind of to help the development of the sow, slow down the growth a little bit, because when they grow too quickly they're susceptible to developing lameness, and look at rearing them, the effects of rearing them with male pigs or just on their own as well. And so that's one side of it. Then the other part of it is looking at mammary development. So mammary development really kicks off as soon as the sow or the developing sow hits puberty. And it's known that you can kind of nutritionally tweak this. So by feeding them a high energy diet, that stimulates like good development of the udder. And that's really good then for the piglets, because when they're born, she's producing more milk. But unfortunately, the advice kind of given to stimulate mammary development is like feed them a lot, give them a lot of energy, but that's contrary to the advice that people are given when it comes to reducing the risk of them going lame, because you're supposed to limit the diet of that. So one of the aims of the study is to try and kind of see if there's a happy medium between the two and try and find an optimum diet for them. And then so we're going to look at different strategies for rearing the sow or the gilt. And then we're also going to, any offspring that the gilts in our experiments have, we're going to follow them through until slaughter to see if the different rearing strategies that the mother has an effect then on the production performance, obviously, but also like the immune system and the stress responses and the behaviour of the offspring that she has. So the third study then started around this time last year, and that's looking at kind of aiming to identify different types of environmental enrichment strategies that can be used here in Ireland. So pigs are very susceptible to a behavioural disorder called tail biting and also ear biting, where they eat at each other's tails and ears, and this can cause severe injuries and also loss in production performance, because pigs that are tail bitten are generally lighter and parts of their carcass can be condemned. So it's a legal requirement in the EU that animals are provided with manipulable material in the pens to, the aim is that they'll manipulate that instead of other pigs to satisfy their behavioural needs. And the gold standard for that is straw in general, deep bedded straw. But in Ireland, most of our farms have slatted systems, so you can't put straw down. So alternatives are needed, and the types of substrate that we're looking at the moment are compressed straw blocks that you can just put into a dispenser that the pigs can kind of go up to and nibble at, and also different types of wood ranging from hardwood to softwood. So we've just finished the first year of the study, and we've done a farmer survey to kind of find out what the farmers think themselves about it, and they have told us that they're very interested. A lot of people are already using wood, and a lot of other people would be interested in using it as well if we found it to be effective. So that's something that we think we'll probably focus in a bit more. We've almost completed an experiment with the straw blocks. The way that we're providing the straw blocks doesn't seem to be any more effective at reducing damaging behaviours than just having a plastic hanging toy inside in the pen. The research that I'm presenting today in the area that I'm working in primarily deals with how to manage animals, and this area is quite important not only for improving the productivity of the pigs but also the sustainability of the Irish industry, because it's not just important to have improved productivity, but we're also trying to find ways to improve the welfare of the animals in the farms. And this is something that's becoming increasingly important for the consumer.